Thanks for hanging with us. Appreciate it. It is Tuesday. It is February 20th. We are, as we mentioned, close to the month of March, which is amazing. Almost springtime, friends. Almost. All right. Let's look at some free agents. So a couple things just to reiterate, Tone. Franchise or transition tag starts today in the NFL through March 5th. Legal tampering period begins March 11th, which means you could talk to guys, who are either been franchise tagged or restricted, et cetera. And then free agency starts on the 13th of March. So that's where we are. All right. Let's start with the defensive line and guys that are available. Now, would the Eagles be in the market for any of these guys? Could they afford any of these guys? We'll see. I think there'd have to be some creativity to pull some of these off, but nonetheless. All right, let's start with this one. There's two, in my opinion, two gigantic chips here. One, Chris Jones, who is a defensive tackle, arguably the best in the game at this point for the Chiefs, and has won 2 straight Super Bowls with them, has been a dominant force, has come up big in really big spots too, for them. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. They're likely going to have to choose between Snead and Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Jones gets a big, gigantic bag. I think he stays there. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think Jones stays there as well. I believe in building a team from the inside out, not outside in. I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, they developed Snead from a 4th rounder. So I wouldn't imagine that organization feels confident enough to be able to coach up and develop another young corner, to play alongside Trent McDuffie. I know they know Trent McDuffie is their best corner, and they look at him as the linchpin or the main guy in that in that DB room. So I think they'll ultimately let Snead walk and get his big payday. He's earned it, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and I think they're going to bring back Chris Jones. I think he's the heart of that defense.
I think so too. And if they do allow him to get out of there, I think Chris Jones will get the biggest defensive tackle contract anybody's ever gotten.
Yep.
So
that's a fact.
He's getting paid. He's not going to be coming here. They can't afford that. Let me always throw this out there. Davis Price. His name's Tyrion Davis Price. He was a running back. He was a 3rd-round pick by San Francisco out of LSU in 2022. Niners waived him. Eagles picked him up, put him on the practice squad. So see what happens there. See if they can develop
what position is he?
He's a running back.
Running back. Huh?
Yeah.
So are they – I mean, they remember they picked up Trey Sermon from the Niners and didn't do anything with him.
Yep.
So, look, at this point, they're just feeling themselves away around the dark room, and they're just picking up whatever they can at this point. The core move and this move means nothing in the grand scheme of things until we see something else. This team is still going to be, on the, under the microscope.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Chris Jones, I'm going to go. So I'm including quote unquote edge rushers as defensive linemen, just for the sake of this discussion. All right. The second guy is Josh Allen, not the quarterback with the Bills, but the edge rusher with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe the most underrated player in football, Tone. This guy's an absolute wrecking ball and had a ridiculous season last year. Some think he may get franchised by Jacksonville. He has turned himself into a phenomenal player.
Yeah, I think he's going to get franchise tagged. He is phenomenal, right? Him, Brian Burns, those kind of guys. I think they're ultimately going to get franchise tagged.
Yeah, I mean his production, and again, would the Eagles be in the market for these high level guys? Probably not.
No.
But still, and you're right. Brian Burns is another one. He's a defensive end for Carolina. They've been terrible, but he's been good despite all their mess.
I think the Eagles should think about targeting AJ Epinesa.
Yeah, from the Bills.
Former DN from the Bills. His estimated market value right now is at $5.6 million average annual salary. I think that's a name they should think about going after. AJ Epinesa has been real productive for the Bills, and he's always done a good job, in his role over the past 2 seasons. In 2023, he put up 6.5 sacks. 2022, 6.5 sacks. So he's been consistent, and he's only played about 38, 30, 36 to 38% of the snaps for that defense over the past couple seasons. He put up he put up that kind of production, only playing about 36% of the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him in Philadelphia. I think that's a move that they should consider.
Yeah.
Iowa kid, young guy. That could be a move right there. AJ Epinesa.
Good choice. I like that. I like that. All right, let me throw a couple other guys out. Again, you may not be familiar with all of these names, but Justin, I'm going to butcher the name. Get ready. Matabuke, who is a D tackle out of Baltimore. He's part of an ensemble cast of a lot of good defensive players on that side of the ball. But this guy has really burst onto the scene and become that guy. And I think the Ravens would be nuts to let him walk because he is a foundational piece for a long time, still relatively young.
Yeah, I agree. As a matter of fact, let's see. What you said Mbamuke?
Matabuke, Madubui.
I want to see if I can find that market value because
I'm going to say he's in like the 18.
Let's see here. I don't know. I think he may be restricted. I'm not saying. Oh, here it is. Here he is. Okay, Justin Matabuke, Baltimore. Market value right now. Ooh.
How much?
His market value right now stands at an average annual salary of $20.3 million. Former third rounder.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have his pick of the litter.
Yeah, it's tough. That's
26 years old.
Yep. That's a lot. Yeah. There's no denying it. That's a lot. So anyway, he's one of them out there. Christian Wilkins from the Dolphins, who's been phenomenal there, has worked out very well for there. Guy who's been around a long time now, Danielle Hunter from Minnesota. Still very, very productive.
Christian Wilkins' market value $20.9 million. The DTs are getting paid, man.
Yeah, they are. They're getting paid like edge rushers used to.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're still not getting paid. Leonard Williams. Can't believe his deal's up already, but remember he got moved to Seattle.
Right. I mean that's why Giants traded him. They knew they weren't going to pay him.
Yeah. Yep. So he's available. Bryce Huff. Check him out, Tone. He's an edge rusher from the Jets. He might be in that cheaper range. Bryce Huff, Huff. I think he could be a guy that you could get at a decent price.
Let's see here. Let's see if they got something up for him.
I'm going to guess he's in like the 13 range.
Bryce Huff.
They might have him listed as a linebacker or a DN. He's an edge.
Okay, let's see. I'm not seeing. Let me just search his name. I would not waste time. Bryce Huff. Is that Bryce?
Yes, like Bryce Harper. Last name Huff.
Bryce Huff. All right, here he is. Bryce Huff. 25 years old. Went to Memphis. His current market value, not bad. $9.2 million average annual salary. Okay. As far as stats go, he had 10 sacks in 2023.
That's a guy to look at. There's one, Bryce Huff.
That's a guy to look at. And again, these are names that we can probably consider in the event. And he was an undrafted guy too. Oh yeah, he's looking to maximize his value.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let me not say I wouldn't be surprised if things don't bode well with the Hindsight Reddick situation. The Eagles do have some names they can probably target to try to supplement that loss.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're Hindsight Reddick level, but look, man, you got to balance that defense out a little bit more. And if the money don't make sense with Reddick, you got some options you could target in free agency to try to bring them in at a cheaper price tag, and then you can allocate more resources maybe to the linebacker, maybe to the safety position. You got to get creative with the money here.
Oh, for sure. All right, let me give you a couple other names. Zadarius Smith, edge guy from Cleveland, is one to look at. DJ Reader, D tackle from Cincinnati. And again, I think some of these are going to be out of the Eagles' range, but there are a couple more. There's Chase Young who was now was a 49er to close out last year. All of those guys maybe could be in the mix.
Yeah, Chase Young's market value is $13 million on a 1-year deal. You know, he still has to prove he can stay healthy. So I have a hard time believing he'll get anything beyond a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So maybe
that's possible.
Another option. Yeah, maybe another option for the Eagles if Reddick walks. You never know. We'll find out though.
Okay. All right. Let me give you some linebackers. Frankie Lavu from the Carolina Panthers is a free agent. Still relatively young, younger than a couple of these other guys that we're going to be talking about. So that's a possibility. Maybe to get out of Carolina.
Frankie Louvu?
Yeah.
Let's see what his market value is. Frankie Louvu's market value is $11.2 million per season. 11.2.
That's 3 times
undrafted guy.
All their linebackers.
Yeah. In 2023, he had 5.5 sacks. 2022, he had 7 sacks. The moment he got more opportunities, because his first few years he was only, on the field for, for example, 2021 he only was on the field 22.9% of the time on defense. 2020, 22% of the time. Then in 2020, 22% of the time. But then in 2022, when he got more snaps, they put more responsibilities on his plate. He played 940 snaps for him, which was 85% of the defensive snaps. He put up 7 sacks and 111 tackles. And then in 2023, he played 925 snaps, which was 93% of the total defensive snaps. Gave you 5.5 sacks, 125 tackles, 66 solo, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, Frankie Louvu is a player, and he can definitely change the complexion of the linebacker from overnight. But the question becomes, do the Philadelphia Eagles want to pay that number, that price tag to a linebacker? And that's always been our issue with the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's right. Levante David, veteran.
Too old for me. Too old.
Yeah, that's if you can get him on the cheap.
Too old, man. 34 years old.
Yeah, that's a lot of tread.
I'm cool. I like Levante David. Do not get me wrong, but I'm cool off that, man. He gave you production last year though. I mean, look, he played 908 snaps through 15 games, which is 84% of the snaps for the Buccaneers defense. 4.5 sacks, 133 tackles, 86 solo. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a really good player, but 34 years old. My fear is that when we get him, that's going to be my fear is. Listen, when we get him, he's going to age on the flight over. That's my fear.
All right. How about Kenny Moore, corner, linebacker from Indy?
Kenny Moore. Let's see here.
Or did I lump him
in?
Yeah, did I lump him in with the linebackers? I may have lumped him in with the linebackers.
What is he, an edge or something like that? Kenny Moore. He's a DB. He's a DB.
Yeah, he's a corner. Yeah. All right, let's forget him. Patrick Queen is a free agent in Baltimore. I didn't realize he was a free agent also.
Yeah. I'm not even nothing to you, but I'm not even entertaining Patrick Queen. He's going to be he's probably going to end up being the highest paid linebacker this offseason in terms of guys that get paid.
I'll give you one more. This guy's a tackling machine, Jordan Brooks, Seattle. He is a tackling machine.
26 years old.
Yeah.
26 years old. He's a former first rounder.
Yeah.
His estimated average annual salary is $11.3 million. 11.3. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles. Do we see them bucking their trend at linebacker? Over the past 3 seasons, wow, this dude's been insane. In 2021, he led the league
in tackles, didn't he?
He had 100. Listen to this. In 2021, he had 184 total tackles, 108 solo. 2022, he had 161 tackles, 103 solo. And then in 2023, he had 111 tackles, 62 solo. But he also added in 4.5 sacks with that and a forced fumble and an interception. So this guy is around. He's a physical dude. He gets around. He moves. He's always near the ball. I like that. I like that a lot. He also played significantly less snaps than he has the past few years. In 2021 and 2022, he averaged over 1,000 defensive snaps. In 2023, he only has 766 defensive snaps. Maybe they were using them different, who knows? But yeah, man, that guy's a machine.
All right, let's jump to defensive back. I'm going to give you some safeties, and I'll give you some corners.
Okay.
Again, a lot of these I think will be too rich for the Eagles' blood, but Antoine Winfield is the biggest name on the market.
They may franchise tag him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yep, that could happen. That could happen. L'Jarius Sneed, you know, you can only tag one of them. So if you're going to try and go down that road again with Chris Jones, or you just view it as we're going to pay Chris Jones crazy money, somebody's got to walk. Sneed's played the inside, he's played the outside. He was originally a slot corner. Now he's been in it, you know, outside corner. This guy would look great in an Eagles uniform. But
he would, but I think he may be a little too rich for them right now, given the amount of money they got tied up in that position already. We don't even know what they're going to do with Bradbury, his deal. So it's going to be complicated.
All right, Jalen Johnson of the Bears, another guy.
I think he gets franchise tagged as well.
Yeah. Kendall Fuller of the Commanders. Cornerback.
29 years old. 15 games played, over 1,000 snaps, 79 tackles, 2 interceptions. In 2023, he made $10 million of average annual salary. As of right now, on the open market, his market value is thus. They have him estimated market value at $14.1 million. That might be a little too rich for the Eagles right now. And again, this all depends on what moves they make to free up some cash. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Kendall Fuller, I've seen him at his best. I've seen him at his worst.
Yeah. I'm not as big a fan of his as some of these other guys.
Right.
Chidobe Awuzie, corner from Cincinnati. Wonder if he's a possible. It feels like to me with corner, they're going to roll some dice on Isaiah Rodgers and draft a guy. I don't know that they're paying any of these kind of prices for some of these cats.
It's possible. Isaiah Rodgers, was he a slot corner or a boundary corner?
I'll tell you in a minute.
I can't really remember, but they don't have the market value for Chidobe Awuzie up. But in 2023, he made $7.25 million. I would imagine at 28 years old, maybe his market value is a little higher than that with the salary cap going up. It's a possibility.
So he was a Rodgers, just to give you a little background, 5'10", 170, came out of UMass. He was a 6th round pick. Wow, this guy is overachieved in a big way. But anyway, he was a 211th overall pick, and he was acquired in a trade with the Jets for Quincy Wilson, which is a bad trade for the Jets. He had a 101-yard kick return in 2022. So after the season, he was placed on injured reserve. Actually, in December, he was placed on injured reserve with a knee injury he suffered against the Rams. Finished the year with 34 tackles, 3 pass breakups, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. In June of 2023, he was suspended for gambling, accused of opening a sportsbook account under a name of a personal associate, making roughly 100 bets, including bets on his own team. June of 28 reported that Rodgers, among several NFL players, suspended for the entirety of the 23 season. Shortly after the suspension was announced, he was waived by the Colts and then signed by the Eagles. That's all I got. That's all I got right now on him.
Okay.
I don't like that he bet on his own team, man. That's troubling. That's a little concerning for me.
Yeah, it's idiotic. I want to think he learned from that mistake.
Yeah,
I would like to think that.
I hope. But he's probably got one more chance to get it together here. But anyway.
Definitely.
And then there's older guys. You know, Stephon Gilmore's a free agent. Geno Stone, who's a safety with the Ravens, is a free agent. I'm not saying all these guys are old, but Xavier McKinney, who's a safety with the Giants. Cameron Curl with Washington. There's some okay safeties on the market.
Yeah, there are. Adrian Phillips out of New England. I think the Patriots just cut him.
Yeah.
So let's see here what he did for them. Adrian Phillips through 16 games played. Oh wow, he didn't really play too much in 2023. I wonder why. Probably just couldn't get on the field.
Yeah.
He was an undrafted guy as well. But it's interesting though. Years past, he's always played 700, 800, 700 snaps. Huh. Wonder what happened in 2023.
I don't know. I don't know. All right. Elsewhere, Matthew Slater retired after this guy. What a career. Arguably, right there with any special teams player to have ever played. But he made 10 Pro Bowls. Played 16 seasons. Belichick said he's by far the best Pro Bowler or best safety or special teams player, that he ever played for or ever had. So he retires after 10. Pro Bowls.
Spent this whole career in New England. Wow.
Won a lot of championships. He's only behind Trent Williams in terms of guys who were active in terms of Pro Bowls. Trent has 11, and Slater was tied with Aaron Donald for
38
10.
years old. Did you know this guy Slater has in the NFL? He didn't catch not one single receiving touchdown.
Just shows you, kids, you get the art of special teams down, man. You can turn it into a career. His dad was a phenomenal offensive lineman, Jackie Slater, for the Rams. Like a great player. Yeah,
listen to this also, kids. Matthew Slater never caught a pass in the NFL for a touchdown, not one.
Right.
But guess what? He carved out a 16-year career and left the casino with $30 million. So if you're smart with your money, kids, you dedicate 16 years or something, and you leave with $30 million, that's an average salary of what, 1.5, $2 million a year. Listen, kids, if you can get to the NFL, special teams, and you're good at it, and you're dedicated to it, and you're smart with your money, you can live a very good life.
It's a good point. It is a very, very good point. Yeah, kudos to him on a long career. Cameron Hayward had surgery. You could tell he was a guy who was really kind of limping to the finish line last season. And he talked about how rough it was for him physically and actually contemplated retiring. But he sent a picture of himself out from the operating room and said, tired of doing stuff on one leg. Now I got my two legs going, basically. He had 33 tackles last year, 2 sacks in 11 games. Had 6 tackles in the Steelers playoff loss, but really was playing like compromised. He was not himself in any way, shape, or form. So see him keep it going here because that dude has been not only a great player, but he was the NFL Man of the Year. He's good for the NFL and he's good for sports.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see him, get his act together. So college football, did you see this? They're expands playoffs from 4 to 12, and via ESPN, the current 14 format will grow to 12. The field will consist of the 5 highest-ranked conference championships, along with 7 at-large berths. So it usually will result in the champions of the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC automatically getting in. If, however, the champion of one of the Power 4 conferences finishes lower in the official rankings below the 2 champions of other eligible conferences like the AAC or whatever, they'll have to qualify to get in. So college football expanding, which, more money, more money.
Yep. And also gives other programs an opportunity at glory.
That's true.
Sometimes it's about matchups and timing. If did you wake up on the right side of the bed that day? Could one of these top teams get caught by one of these lower tier teams? I think that makes it more exciting.
Yeah,
makes it more exciting, and it also gives other programs more opportunities to make more money and show off the quality of their program and their personnel. Gives players a better chance at showcasing their talents, and maybe they can up their draft stock.
Yeah, you're right. No,
on a higher level on a national scale.
Yeah, and you don't want it to always be the haves. You don't want it to always be the upper crust. You want to give it's the beauty of what basketball is. The NCAA tournament. You have the underdog, team that just makes this crazy run.
Yes.
It's a lot harder in football to do that.
Yep, it gives the underdogs, just as well of a shot as some of the better teams. And it also, in my humble opinion, it's going to force these top tier programs to stay on their P's and Q's and not sleep on these teams and think they can mail it in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all those things are true. All right. We're going to come back, and it is the 61st birthday of Charles Barkley. So we're going to dig into some of our, and you guys all want to chime in the chat, some of our favorite sports media personalities. And that could be individuals. And then we'll get into, what shows we like the best. We'll dig into all those kind of things when we come back. Don't go anywhere. That's Tone. I'm Rob. We'll be right back.
I remember getting my heart broken when they lost the Super Bowl in 2004. We're big Eagles fans. We moved to South Philly because of the Eagles. When they won, we went straight to Broad Street, and everybody was going nuts over there, and it was just a memory that you'll never forget.